we'll post that to Smart HQ after the sessions are completed. So, Nicole, I'm happy to pass over to you now, and you can start presenting.
Awesome. Thanks, Daniel, and I hope everyone can hear me. Look, it's really good to be here, and as Daniel mentioned, what I'm going to do for the next sort of 20 minutes or so is just sort of walk you through some of what I think are the really cool new features of the new Office 2016 applications that we launched yesterday and that are available to buy as of yesterday. So first of all, I just wanted to start with sort of what the new Office is about and some of the key messages that we're leading with in the market, and some of the messages that you can take to your customers as well. So there's probably 4 key pillars of the new Office that we're centering around. The first is that the new Office is built for teamwork, and what we really mean by this is Office has really been redesigned with collaboration in mind, whether that's, collaboration with your family and friends, if you're working on, holiday itineraries or family budgets, or it could be collaboration with your teammates working on work documents, or it could be collaboration for students and working on school projects together. So some of the new features I'm going to show you are going to really focus on this better for teamwork scenario. The second pillar, which I'm not going to do too many demos on today, is this idea that, the new Office really is perfect with Windows 10. And I'm going to show you some examples, but sort of why Windows 10 and Office are really the best partners together. Works for you. So this is all about tailoring your Office applications to how you want to use them. And there's some really cool new features that just make using Office simpler, faster, and quicker. So I'm going to show you some of the cool stuff there. And the final pillar is this idea that the new Office is the most secure Office. This really does centre around the commercial and the enterprise side of the new Office, so the Office 2016 and Office 365 for the commercial space. So I'm not going to go into a lot of demo and detail here, but this is certainly sort of the 4th pillar around what's new with Office 2016. So as I said, probably the 3 core pillars that I'll talk about today: built for teamwork, working for you, and perfect with Windows 10. Just on the perfect for Windows 10, an example that I wanted to give is with Windows Hello. So I'm sure you're all familiar with some of the cool new features in Windows 10 with single sign-on with Windows Hello being available. An example of this working with the new Office is that if you're using Windows Hello to sign into Windows, it will automatically sign you into your Office account rather than having to log into that separately. So that's one example. Another example is the integration of Cortana in Office. So when Cortana is available here, an example would be you could say, hey Cortana, schedule a meeting for me within Outlook, and Cortana will open up Outlook and schedule that meeting for you. So that's sort of some of the integration with Cortana and the Office apps. When we look at the working for you pillar, I'm going to show you a couple of new features, some really cool stuff in Excel, some new ways to present data more beautifully and more visually, some very handy forecasting and business tips and tricks. I'm going to show you 2 new features called Tell Me and Smart Lookup, and how they are what I think super time-saving features. Some really cool things that we've done with how we attach documents within our Outlook. And around this built for teamwork platform, I'm going to show you some really cool sharing functionality and collaboration functionality. So what have we actually announced and what is actually new within our applications? So the first focus is all this idea around sharing and collaboration. So within Word, within PowerPoint, within Excel, and within Outlook, you're going to have this new little button in the top right-hand corner of the ribbon called Share. And when I do the demo, I'm going to contextualize this a little bit better, but you're going to see how really easy it is to share that document with other people, whether that's work colleagues or friends and family, and how you can work on that same document and easily communicate with those people through Skype, whether that's Skype for business or Skype for consumer, through instant message, through video calling, without having to leave the application. So that's one thing I'm going to show you today. The second thing I'm going to show you is around this new feature called Smart Lookup. And the way I sort of think about this, it's bringing the power of the web into the application you're working on. So a great example could be that your kids might be working on a school project within Word and creating that project. And if they want to research information and find some information from the internet without having to go to their browser or to Internet Explorer or whatever they're using to look that up, they can do that from directly within the Word document. Another example might be that you're building, a customer presentation or a brochure for a customer, and you want to grab some information and pictures from the web. You can do that all within the application now, and that's pretty cool. So I'm going to show you that. Another feature I'm going to show you is called Tell Me. And one thing that we've recognised within the Office team is that there are hundreds and thousands of features within every application, and we probably aren't using half of them. We're probably not using a lot of them, and we probably don't even really know what features are available for us to use. But that actually doesn't matter anymore, because Tell Me is pretty intuitive, and if you simply type in what you're trying to do within that application, the Tell Me function will bring up all the options that it thinks best fits what you're trying to do, and you can easily do it. So you don't need to know where it's located on the ribbon. You don't need to go and find it and look it up. Tell Me will help you get that done pretty quickly. So just within each of the individual applications, I'm going to also talk through some of the cool new stuff within Word, PowerPoint, and Excel and Outlook. So one of the really big changes that we've made within Word, and this is a competitive advantage for us, so no one else can do this, is what we call real-time co-authoring within the desktop environment. So for years, we've been able to, and other platforms have been able to co-author in real time in the browser environment. But one thing that we've released now with Office 2016 is real-time co-authoring in the desktop environment. And what that means is that if you have a document saved to OneDrive, for example, or any cloud storage that you're using, and you open up that document within Word, and you've shared that document with a friend or a family member or your colleague as well, if that person is making edits to the document from the desktop, not from within the browser, but from within the desktop application, you will be able to see their edits in real time. So their words will be appearing on the screen in real time, and you're not even connected online in that document. So that's a really cool new feature, and effectively that allows for better collaboration as people are working on documents. So we don't have to worry about version controls. We don't have to worry about people overriding other changes. There's lots of cool new things in Word that allow for better co-authoring with people, which is great for students. It's great for people working on documents together. And it's even great for the consumer lifestyle. So, if you're planning a holiday with a friend and, you're chatting to that friend in real time and you're both making edits to your holiday itinerary at the same time. So that's pretty cool. Within Excel, I'm going to show you some new charts that are available that make presenting your business data really visually beautiful and really easy. I'm also going to show you a really great new forecasting tool. So for anyone that's running a business, and particularly in that small business space, and certainly one of the things that I do within my business is I've got a bunch of historical data on revenue and sales and products I'm selling, and I sort of want to predict what the next year is going to be like based on previous seasonality and perhaps applying, a 10% growth in revenue or a 20% decline in revenue. Previously that used to be pretty hard and used to take a long time to do within Excel, and through a couple of clicks now we're going to get some really a really easy way to do real-time forecasting. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Within Outlook, there's some really cool things that have been added to Outlook. The first is around modern attachments. So what I'll show you, and for me this is a huge time-saving piece. So if you're using Outlook and you've been working on, PowerPoints and Excel documents and Word docs throughout the day, and then you decide that you'd like to send those documents to people, whether that's the actual document or sending a link to where it's stored in a cloud service. Previously, it used to be a bit of a hassle to go and find that document or go into your cloud service to pull that document down. But there's a new service that we've released that makes that a lot easier, and I'm going to show you how to do that. The second really cool thing with Outlook is a new feature called Clutter. And the way I think about Clutter is it's like your own personal assistant for your inbox. And effectively what Clutter does, it uses machine learning and it recognizes the emails that you automatically delete or move to a different folder without reading them. And it will start to filter those emails into a separate folder called Clutter. And every couple of days, you'll get an email from Clutter saying, I've moved all these emails into your Clutter inbox, and you do have an opportunity to repurpose them back into the inbox again if you do actually want to have those sitting in your inbox automatically. But for me, you know, I'm on a lot of distribution lists and I'm signed up to a lot of different newsletters, and often in my inbox of a morning, I've just got hundreds of emails that I do automatically just delete without reading. And so Clutter kind of helps you take care of that automatically, and then you can look at it later on when you have more time. So that's quite handy. Within PowerPoint, I have to admit there haven't been a bunch of new features added to PowerPoint itself, so I'm not going to focus a lot on PowerPoint today. But one of the great things that has been added is around that, you know, better teamwork, better collaboration story, and it's to do with conflict resolution when you're co-authoring with someone. So one of the challenges that you might have faced yourself is that if you're trying to work on a document at the same time as a colleague, you often have these conflict resolutions where you're not sure whose changes to accept and which one was the last version. As the document owner, PowerPoint will now show you all the different versions and all the changes that have been made, and you as the document owner have the ability to accept what changes you want within that document. So again, just sort of enhancing that collaboration and teamwork story. So that's a super quick rundown of what I'm going to show you now. And so hopefully, all things going smoothly, the demo that I'm going to do now will work flawlessly, and hopefully you can follow along and I'll show you how to do some of those new things. So I'm just going to jump out of the presentation and open up my Word document. So Gavin or Daniel, just shout out, can you see my Word doc now? Hopefully you can.
We can see it well. It's all working. And as I was saying this morning, with Clutter, and just as a quick question, whilst you're getting set up and ready, does that just come automatically, or do you need to turn it on in Outlook?
Yeah, so it will come automatically by default, and it is starting to roll out from now. So, and it is tied back to an Exchange account. So at the moment, Daniel, we've been using kind of the preview version. So some people have it, some people don't, but that will start to come by default soon.
That's why I'm just trying to work out why I have it and Gavin doesn't.
And Gavin doesn't. I can explain that offline later.
All right.
No worries.
Let you
no
get
worries.
back to it. It's not fair.
Yeah. It's to do with the tenant that you're on in Microsoft. Anyway, it's a bit technical, but we can talk about that later. So anyway, so back to the demo. So I'm going to start in Word and show you some of those new features that I spoke about. So the document that I have open now is a school project, and the project is about a guy called Charles Lindbergh. And sorry that I'm pausing, but I can now actually hear myself talk, which is annoying. So let me see if that's better. No. Okay. Let me try again. Guys, I'm actually it's really hard because I'm now actually hearing myself talk. It's feeding back to me. So I'm going to jump off and then dial back in.
No, it's fine. We just it was just someone on a call with a speakerphone. We just muted them.
Cool. Okay. All right. I'm back now. That's perfect. All right. So I'm in Word, and the first function I'm going to show you is a function called Share. So this is new sharing functionality. So if you have a look up at the top right-hand side of my screen, there's a little button called Share. So I'm going to hit that, and what you can see here is you can see all the people that I've shared this document with through OneDrive. So I've got a bunch of people that have access to this document. But one of the cool things that you can do now is that just say I wanted to add more people to co-author with me or to have viewing access to this document, I don't have to leave Word. I don't have to leave the application I'm using and go to my OneDrive to give them access. I can simply add them right within this document. So I'm going to search for someone, so just say I search for Gavin, and just say I decide that he can have edit access, or I could choose it to view only access. access. I type a little message, hi Gav, here's the file. And if I share that, Gavin will get an email saying that he now has edit access to this document. But what's really cool as well is that I can see if I'm connected with Skype for Business or if I'm connected with these people via Skype for Consumer, I can actually see if they're online at this time. So as an example, I can find Gavin who has edit access to this, and because I'm connected with him via Skype, just say I decide to IM him and I can say, hi Gav, just sent you the file, and I don't have to leave the Word application to actually communicate with him. And we don't have to be necessarily connected via Skype for Business account. My best friend lives in New York, and we're currently working on collaborating with a holiday itinerary at the moment. And we're not connected via Skype for Business, but we're connected via Skype for Consumer. And she will actually appear here with her Skype for Consumer account, and we can chat, we can video call while we're actually working on our holiday itinerary together without having to leave the Word document that we're in. So that's kind of cool. So that's the new sharing functionality. The next thing I'm going to show you is that new feature called Smart Lookup. So if I scroll down, I've got my school project here. Just say I wanted to find out who this Charles Augustus Lindbergh actually was. So one thing I can do is I can just put my cursor on the word Charles. I right click, I can go Smart Lookup, and you can see on the right hand side of the Word document, it's used the power of Bing to bring in information from the web on who Charles Lindbergh is. And I'm sure people might be thinking, can we change that search engine to Google? And the answer is yes, you can. But the default web engine that it will use will be Bing. But you can automatically see here that Smart Lookup has found a bunch of information on Charles Lindbergh. And what's really nice is that I can actually drag and drop images or text directly into the Word document I'm working on. So kind of really great for, as I said, maybe projects that students are working on. They don't have to leave the application to go to the internet, find the information, copy and paste it back into Word. They can do that from directly now within the application. Perhaps also handy if you're working on a customer presentation or brochure.
Nicole, just for a second, I just got a quick instant message just saying that there's no audio. Can everyone else hear Nicole okay?
Yeah, Les is saying okay, so...
Okay.
Must be, come on, leading edge, what's going on? All good, thanks Brenton.
Should I keep going?
Yep, keep going.
Yep, okay. Yeah, so that's the Smart Lookup feature, but I want to show you something else that's pretty fancy within Smart Lookup. So you can see here that I've just looked up information on Charles Augustus Lindbergh. And further in the document is some information that his dad's name was actually Charles August Lindbergh. So just say I've wanted to find out who Charles August Lindbergh is. Again, I just select Charles, and I could right-click and go Smart Lookup. But just say I didn't know where Smart Lookup was. I'm going to go up to this new Tell Me little bar up here, and that was another new feature that I spoke about. And it will bring up the recently used things that I've looked up, but just say I want to say, who is he? You can see here that perhaps I don't know that the feature is called Smart Lookup, but I want to know who this Charles guy is, and that's who I've selected. And you can see here, Smart Lookup is one of the options that you get. So we do a Smart Lookup, and again, it's using the internet, and it will bring in, it's actually hooked up here. I'll go again, Charles, there we go, Smart Lookup. And it'll bring in Charles Augustus. But what you can notice is I didn't actually select all of Charles August Lindbergh's name. So what Word and what Smart Lookup actually does, it reads the information around the word that you're looking up and contextualizes it. So it's actually smart enough to know that you're actually looking at Charles August Lindbergh and you want to know information on him versus Charles Augustus Lindbergh. That's quite cool. It actually contextualizes the information. The other thing that you kind of just saw then is that Smart Lookup can also define words. So just say, and this would be great for students and for kids if they don't actually understand what a word means. So just say, for example, they don't know what the word pilot means. They can do a Smart Lookup on pilot, and again, that will define, using the Oxford Dictionary, what the word means. So super handy and just saves time rather than having to leave the application and go to the web to get things done. So I'm just going to get out of that. So I just showed you the sharing functionality, Smart Lookup and Tell Me within Word. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to jump into Outlook and show you the new modern attachment feature, which make things really easy from an Outlook perspective. Okay, so I'm going to open up a new mail and just say I'd like to send this to Gavin and Daniel, and I want to attach my file. So again, just say I'm not sure, well, the attached file is just here, but showing you that Tell Me is also available within the Outlook scenario as well. But in this case, I'm going to attach a file. What you can see here, and this is one of the new features that have been added, you can see all of your recent documents that you've been working on. So you don't have to go back into your PC Explorer to find the document or go into wherever it's stored in the cloud. So the other thing that I'm going to show you is you can see the documents here all on the left-hand side. The other thing you can see is some documents have a little cloud next to them. This means that that document is saved in a cloud service, and for me it's OneDrive for Business. So if I wanted to select that, it won't actually send the document itself to everyone, it will send the link to the document. So one thing that's really cool though, so I'll find Charles Lindbergh, that was the report I was using. A lot of the time when you're sending links to people to access, they need access to that document or folder. And so previously you would have had to go into OneDrive, grant them access, whether that's view access or edit access, and then go back in to send the link. Those days are gone. One thing that's really cool, so I've attached the document here. Well, it's actually the link to the document because it was from the cloud. I can actually change permissions from within Outlook without having to go to OneDrive to do that. So I can change recipients can view or recipients can edit. From a security perspective, this will only give access to this specific file. So you won't be giving access to the rest of your documents or the rest of your folders that you have stored in OneDrive. So that's a great security feature. But again, this is saving a bunch of time and a bunch of hassle with people not having access to the links that you're sending them for docs that are saved in OneDrive. So that's one of my favorite new features within Outlook there. And finally, I'm going to jump into Excel. So as I mentioned before, there's some really cool new features that are now available within Excel that make presenting and representing data in a beautiful way really quick and simple. But I'm actually going to start with the new forecasting tool. And I think this is, for me, in the business that I run, is saving me a bunch of time. But I sort of really see the benefit for, particularly in that small business space, and even managing the family budget, understanding what your expenses have been. Just say you download from CommBank into an Excel file all of your expenses over the past year or 2 years and all the income that's coming in to the family, and then you want to project, where you think you'll be in 12 months' time or 2 years' time. You can do that really easily now with this forecast tool. So the example here, I've got, I've got dates and I've got a bunch of data. So I'm just going to select that data. And again, just say I don't know where this forecasting tool or feature is within Excel. That doesn't matter. I'm going to go up to Tell Me, which is also available in Excel, and I'm going to go forecast. And you can see here, forecast sheet has come up. Yep, I want that. I click on that. It brings up an example of how the chart will look. What you can see here is that it's given me a forecast in orange, and it's showing an upper confidence level and a lower confidence level. So sort of applying an uplift and then implying a reduction, and it's given me the median as well. And if I select this little options section down here, I can change those easily. So I can reset the timeline. Instead of it being, 12 months, I could set it to be 5 5 years. I could set the upper confidence level to say I want to spend 20% more. What will then the forecast look like, for example? But just say I'm happy with that and I go hit create. It will create, a really nice little chart here that you can manipulate and change. But what's really cool is if I scroll down, you can see that I'm going to select here, it's pre-populated those forecast numbers for me automatically. So I can actually manipulate those numbers within the Excel table as well. So you can see it's giving me the forecast, it's giving me the lower confidence, and it's giving me an upper confidence level. So just a really quick and simple way now to do forecasting, and I see a lot of uses for this within the business space, and particularly the small business space. So that's one cool new feature. The second thing that I'd like to show you is some of the new charts. So as I said before, there's a few new charts, and actually the one I want to show first, which I think is really nice, is a chart called Waterfall. And a waterfall chart is also known as a bridge, and again, I'll use the example within my business. Often I have to present to the management team and tell them how I'm going to make my revenue for the year and where that revenue is going to come from, or perhaps what the risks are in the business and what's happening in the market and why perhaps I won't make my revenue. And I have to represent that in a really easy to understand way, in a really beautifully visual way. And it actually is really complex to do normally within Excel. The example is a simple P&L. So I've got revenue, I've got a bunch of costs, and then I'm left with net income at the end. And if I wanted to show that in a chart and represent that in a really easy to understand way, it's easy to do now. So again, I'm just going to select my data sources. I'm going to just say, I don't know where this waterfall chart is. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go up to tell me and go waterfall, create chart, insert waterfall. That's what I want to do. You can see here, I'm going to make it bigger, so hopefully you can see it. All I need to do is set my totals, so I can see that 186 is a total. Right click, set as total. I can see that 67,000 is a total. So I find it, right click, set as total, and then I know that 75,000 is a total. So just right click, set as total. And what we have there in literally a few seconds is what we call a waterfall chart, which is a really visual way to represent your income. You can see here in blue, your increases, your decreases, your costs, what you're left with and what you're left with right at the end. And it's a really great way to show that data. So that's one new chart. And the second new chart that I'm going to show you is a chart called Sunburst. Sunburst is a really fancy pie chart. That's the best way to think about it. But the way a sunburst can help you tell a story or can help you show data is that just say you're selling your product into a number of different channels. So for my business, as an example, I have my distribution channel, my reseller channel, my retail channel, and my online Microsoft Store channel. And within each of those channels, I sell a bunch of different Office products, Home and Student, Home and Business, Office 365, etc. I can now really easily show the amount of product I'm selling within each of those channels in a different way. So the example here, I'm just going to select the data source. Again, I don't just say I don't know where my charts are. I'm just going to go up to Tell Me and say Sunburst, Create Chart. I've got all these different chart options. And this is the very fancy sunburst chart. So you can see here, it's a really fancy pie chart, and it gives you a really visual and easy to see view on whatever data you're trying to represent. So that's one of the other new things within Excel. But again, as you can see on the top right-hand side of Excel, I've got that fancy sharing functionality as well, and I can easily save this document to the cloud and then share that out with different people and collaborate as I was doing in Word, for example. So all of those new features that I've spoken about, Smart Lookup, Tell Me, and the sharing functionality carry over into each of the apps. And I think with that, that was what I was going to show for today. So over to Dan and Gavin.
Excellent.
Great. Thanks for that, Nicole. That was I really always enjoy like even listening to that. Whilst I just get set up and present my screen, was there any questions that anyone had that they wanted to type in the instant message window?
One of the ones we had from this morning was when can we get it on Action Pack? And I think we're looking into that. Is that right, Mitch?
We're looking into that.
Okay.
So if you got Office 365, you can already get Office 2016.
Okay.
But for downloading 2016 Professional Plus,
right,
we are looking at
okay. Yeah, it's actually a good call out. So anyone who's on Office 365, whether it be consumer SKUs or commercial, the new applications are now available to those subscribers as well. So we had a question on that this morning. So
and maybe, Gab, the other question that we had, which might answer Helios's question actually, is there's some really great resources available in product guides and videos that go into a lot more detail on some of those new features and really easily explain how you can use them. So, Gav, I know you guys are going to get those resources out through Smart HQ if they're not already on there.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
All right, well, we switched to a little bit more operational, and we know it's late, and again, thanks for joining. So we've only got 10 minutes, and this shouldn't take too long, but this is a collection of questions that we've received over the last few weeks via our distribution partners, via Smart HQ. So just to give a little bit of clarity around, some of the top-of-mind OEM and FPP type questions you may have. So the first obvious one is what versions of Office are available with the new 2016 launch, and the lineup from 2013 to 2016 isn't too dramatically changed at all. In fact, we've now got a new version of Office for Mac, which is, many have said, probably a long time overdue. But importantly, our home and business and professional versions are still available. The only denote there is that the professional, just like with 2013, is available via ESD from Cinex, Ingram and Dicker. So again, ESD only, but very similar lineup to what we had. And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, just a small denote on the standalone applications. They will now go away. So your standalone Word, PowerPoint, Excel, which has been available as single applications in a box, because of volume that we've been moving over the last few years, that hasn't been a massive seller. So we're removing those from general distribution in a
correct,
retail box.
Yep, correct.
A plug here for Office 365. As you would know, we've got two variants for consumer. One is the personal SKU for one user, one PC, and the home for five sharing to 5 different users, which is a great value offer. But also home and student as a perpetual version is still available as well. So that's the transition from the 2013 version. So as I said, very similar lineup. The only, I suppose, small denote there is that packaging does change.
So I'll change the pace a little, just with one of the questions that we have received in the lead up is there a tech guarantee on Office 2013? So for actually this launch, there's unfortunately not going to be a tech guarantee available for 2013. So if there is any questions or wanting to get the latest update, the best way to do that is via Office 365, so that when any updates or new material becomes available, you're the first to get it on Office 365. Another question that we do get and curiosity around the launch with 2016 is will there be media included with this version? So for this actual time, Office 2016 will be medialess. This actually, from an Australia perspective, compared to other countries around the world, we're actually the last to move away from media in packaging. So there will be physical product available via distribution in retail packaging, but that will exclude professional. And for us, what we'll be doing is, and I'll move on to the next question, just around how can we get access to physical media. So At this very point in time, there's currently no downloadable material for Office 2016. So we're just in the process of actually getting all that finalized. Once that does become available, we will be providing the link to that via our Smart HQ website, and we'll be communicating it out via our distribution partners and via any partners that we do speak to from that side. So rest assured, once it does become available, we'll make a lot of noise about this to ensure that you can get access to it. Still in the same media type of questions. So another question that we have seen is there an OPK available for Office 2016? So there is an OPK available, which is, let's say, like a bridging image where, and that's called version 15.4. We'll provide the link to this also via Smart HQ. So what actually happens within this is when you install that on a single image, and your customer or the user inserts an Office 2016 product key, they'll be prompted to download additional material via office.com and just get the upgrade from that side. So they'll get the latest features and everything like that. It's just available via that way. From a timeline perspective, we're looking at around about the November timeframe to have the version 16 available to download, and it will be available at the same site, so that you can get access to that and update your master images as well.
A question we're getting from many of our partners who are eligible for chip incentives. Obviously, with the new product shipping as of yesterday at a distribution, our incentives in the accrual of chip co-op and rebate dollars commenced yesterday as well, so that's important to note. But the other point is, in this transition, the incentives that are being earned on 2013 will end on October the 6th. So a little bit of time still left for any purchases that you may make of the previous versions. And on the next slide, you'll see that, is 13 still available? Certainly is, but it is limited supply. So our distribution partners, had to make last purchases around about a month ago. So what they've got in stock is pretty much it. So certainly reach out to our authorised distribution partners for their stock levels, and let them know if you've got any sort of upcoming, particularly from a commercial perspective on home and business. If you do have customers who like continuity, and we know that does exist, just let them know and make sure that you get in any forecasts that could help you over the next little while. So it is available. Certainly get it while you can. And I think that pretty much wraps up our webinar for this afternoon. Nicole, thank you again for an excellent demonstration. I think some really cool features, and I say that genuinely. Some of the stuff that we're using internally, even just that attaching of documents to Outlook email, just makes life a whole lot easier. So that,
yeah, my pleasure. No problem.
Yeah, well done. So thank you. And with that, we'll stay tuned for Smart HQ updates. I think if you've received this invite to join today, we've got a contest running over the next, started yesterday and today and tomorrow. So that contains not only your chance to win great prizes, but also relevant hints and tips and marketing materials. So we'll continue to push information out via that mechanism. But at the same time, any questions, there's a contact us link on the Smart HQ website, and we're, as a team, monitoring that and happy to answer any questions you may have offline.
Great. What we will do is, we just from the two sessions, as Gavin says, we'll just consolidate all the questions. We'll put them onto, along with this presentation and also the recording. So I echo everyone else's. Thank you very much for attending this afternoon, and we're just going to wrap up the call. So have a good evening.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.